She said, "If you don't trust me doing business with my ex every weekend, maybe we shouldn't be together." I replied, "You're absolutely right." Then I accepted the job transfer to Seattle. I'd been declining it for her. When she texted, "What are you doing this weekend?" I sent a selfie from Denver International Airport. I, 36, male, had been with Melissa Patterson, 32, for 5 years, engaged for 2. Our wedding was planned for 6 months out. Everything was solid until her ex Maxwell moved back to Denver 8 months ago. Suddenly, she had property consultation meetings every Saturday, except these consultations were just her and Maxwell at luxury listings, discussing investment opportunities and maintaining their professional network. When I expressed concern, she hit me with the classic, "He's just a business contact now. We dated for 3 months 6 years ago. You're being insecure and controlling. Fine, whatever." I tried to be the supportive fiancé. Then consultation meetings became Saturday and Sunday property tours. Then Thursday evening, market analysis sessions got added because Maxwell was going through a tough transition back to Denver's investment scene. The breaking point came 4 weeks ago. I'd been offered a massive promotion heading our Seattle regional office, $120K base plus $35K equity package, full relocation covered for 18 months. Dream position, but I'd turned it down twice because Melissa couldn't imagine leaving her established client base. That Saturday morning, she was getting ready for another consultation session. Hair professionally done, new business attire, expensive perfume that never appeared for our date nights. "You sure you don't want to skip today? We could finalize the catering menu instead." She rolled her eyes. "God, Zach, we've been over this. Maxwell and I have legitimate business synergy. If you don't trust me doing business with my ex every weekend, maybe we shouldn't be together." I looked at her for a long moment. "You're absolutely right. Finally. See, I knew you'd understand." "Wait, what?" "You're right. We shouldn't be together." Her expression cycled through about 12 different emotions. "Zach, I didn't mean—" "No, you made a valid point. This engagement isn't working." I walked to our bedroom and sent an email to my director. "I'll take the Seattle position. Can start in 3 weeks. Melissa followed me. "What are you doing?" "I was just frustrated. You can't just—" "I'm accepting a career opportunity. You should probably stay at your parents' tonight, or Maxwell's. Your choice." "Are you seriously ending our engagement over this?" "You literally just said we shouldn't be together if I can't handle your business relationship. I'm agreeing with your assessment." She started crying, not sad tears, angry ones. "You're being ridiculous. It's just professional networking." "Cool. Network away. I'll be in Seattle." She grabbed her purse and stormed out. "You'll regret this decision. 5 years down the drain over nothing." 20 minutes later, my phone exploded. "Baby, let's discuss this rationally. You can't just end an engagement like this." "I'll cut back on working with Maxwell if it bothers you that much." "Zach, please. This is so immature." I didn't respond. Instead, I started calling vendors to cancel wedding arrangements. The past 2 weeks have been eye-opening. After our breakup, Melissa went straight to Maxwell's place. I know because she posted LinkedIn updates from his home office about strategic partnerships and exciting new ventures. Her best friend Whitney texted me, "Did you guys really break up?" Melissa initiated it. She suggested we shouldn't be together. "You're actually moving to Seattle?" "Yep, fresh start." "But she told our investment group you'd never leave because you're too attached to your Denver network." "My Denver network consists of work colleagues and a gym membership." Meanwhile, I was handling logistics, submitted my notice, started shipping belongings to Seattle, found someone to take over my lease. The company covered everything: movers, flights, corporate housing, the works. Melissa tried accessing our apartment while I was packing. I'd already changed the locks since she wasn't officially on the lease. "Zach, I know you're in there. We need to discuss this." I texted her, "Your belongings are boxed by the door. Please collect them." "I'm not taking my things because I'm not leaving. This is insane." "The lease is under my name. You kept your parents' address for mail, remember?" That was her tax strategy, claiming residence at her parents to qualify for certain business deductions. It backfired beautifully. She left after telling our entire friend group I was having a midlife crisis and abandoning our future for a corporate promotion. Then the Maxwell truth emerged. My colleague Pierce works with the same commercial real estate firm as Maxwell. Overheard him on a call. Yeah, she's basically available now. Her fiance's having some career crisis. No, babe, I told you Melissa and I are just business partners. Yes, I'm still your date for your company gala. What do you mean you saw LinkedIn? That was nothing. Turns out Maxwell has a girlfriend, Natalie Foster, who works in Seattle and visits Denver every other weekend, the weekends when Melissa supposedly had family commitments. Pierce sent me screenshots of Maxwell's texts in their real estate group chat from 6 weeks ago. Guys, you've got to see this client I'm working with. Her fiancé thinks we're doing market analysis. I forwarded them to Melissa with one word. Interesting. She called 23 times. I was busy booking my Seattle flight. My flight was Saturday at 2 p.m. The same Saturday, Melissa had consultation meetings for 8 months straight. That morning, she arrived with her mother Helen and sister Jenna, full intervention mode. Zach, sweetheart, Helen started. Melissa explained your career crisis. What crisis? The sudden decision. To abandon your life and move across the country, it's clearly a cry for help. It's a 40% total compensation increase and a director-level position. Jenna jumped in. But what about Melissa? You can't just abandon her. She ended our relationship. I'm respecting her decision. She didn't mean it literally, Melissa screamed. Then maybe don't make ultimatums you're not prepared to follow through on. Helen tried another angle. What about the wedding deposits? Melissa's put her heart into planning. No, we put $11,000 into planning, which I'm writing off as an expensive lesson. You're really going to abandon her over one business relationship? Jenna asked. I pulled out my phone and showed them Maxwell's group chat screenshots. Silence. Helen went pale. Is this legitimate? Melissa turned red. Those messages are taken out of context. What context makes her fiancé thinks we're doing market analysis acceptable? They left after Melissa accused me of corporate espionage. I wasn't spying. Pierce volunteered the information because he thought I deserved to know. At noon, I posted on LinkedIn. New adventure begins. Seattle, here I come. Hashtag career advancement, hashtag new chapter. The responses were immediate. Wait, what happened? Bro, when did this develop? Is this why Melissa's been posting cryptic business quotes all week? At 1:30 p.m. while checking in, Melissa texted, What are you doing this weekend? Can we talk? I sent back a selfie from the gate with the Seattle departure board clearly visible. Her response, This isn't funny, Zach. Not trying to be funny. Boarding starts in 15 minutes. You're seriously leaving? You seriously thought I'd stay after you chose your ex over our engagement? I didn't choose him. 8 months of every weekend says otherwise. I'm coming to the airport. I'm already through security. Safe travels, Melissa. Then I turned off my phone and enjoyed my flight. Life in Seattle is exceptional. The corporate housing is incredible. Panoramic city views, walking distance to the office, fully furnished executive suite. My new team is impressive. I'm actually excited about leadership responsibilities for the first time in years. But the Denver drama didn't end. Melissa went nuclear on social media, posting this lengthy piece about how I abandoned our relationship without warning and refused to work on our commitment and chose money over love. The comments were brutal, though. Didn't you basically dump him for Maxwell? Girl, you posted business updates from Maxwell's office every weekend. Team Zach all the way. She deleted it within hours. Then came the truth bomb. Natalie, Maxwell's actual girlfriend, discovered everything. She reached out via LinkedIn. Hey, you don't know me, but I'm Maxwell's girlfriend. Or was. I saw your ex's posts about you leaving for Seattle. Maxwell told me she was obsessed with him and professionally unstable. I'm guessing that's not accurate. I sent her everything, the consultation meeting lies, the screenshots from the group chat, the timeline of their business meetings. She was devastated but grateful. Then she sent me something valuable, screenshots of Maxwell's text to her. Melissa's just lonely since her fiancé works constantly. She needs a business mentor. Yeah, she's attractive, but nothing compared to you, babe. Her fiancé's kind of a dead end anyway. Probably makes like $60K in some middle management role. I made $95K. Now I make $155K total comp. But sure, Maxwell, continue with your assessment. Natalie dumped Maxwell spectacularly, posted all the screenshots on her LinkedIn story with hashtag professionalism, hashtag integrity, hashtag truth matters. Maxwell called me from 3 different numbers. Bro, you need to control your woman. She's destroying my reputation. Not my woman, not my problem. This is between me and Melissa. You had no right. You had no right to manipulate my fiancé every weekend, but here we are. We weren't sleeping together. Maxwell, I literally don't care anymore. I'm in Seattle. Handle your own mess. He tried spinning it as Melissa pursuing him professionally. Melissa tried spinning it as Maxwell manipulating her business judgment. They deserved each other. Melissa played her final card. She flew to Seattle, showed up at my office building. Corporate security wouldn't let her up. God bless professional building management. So she waited outside for 3 hours until I left for lunch. Zach, we need to talk. How did you even find... Whitney follows your colleague on LinkedIn. Saw the building in his post. That's concerning behavior, Melissa. I flew 300 miles. The least you can do is have coffee with me. Against my better judgment, I agreed. 1 coffee, public location. She looked rough. Hair unwashed, no makeup, same outfit she'd worn in her LinkedIn stories for a week. I made a mistake, she started. Which one? The ultimatum? The lying? Maxwell? All of it, Zach. I thought I could have both. I thought you'd always be there. Why would you assume that? Because you always were. You never challenged me, never called me out. You thought I was a pushover. She started crying. That's not... Melissa, you told our investment group I was too attached to my Denver network to leave. You lied about business meetings for months. You were emotionally involved with Maxwell while I was declining my dream job for you. We only crossed lines twice. Oh, just twice. That makes it acceptable then. I mean, it didn't mean anything. Neither did our engagement, apparently. She pulled out her phone. Look, I've changed. I blocked Maxwell. I'm in professional counseling. I'm working on myself. Good for you, genuinely. But I've moved on. You've been here 6 weeks. You can't have moved on. I moved on the moment you said we shouldn't be together. I just took your advice. Then she played what she thought was her ace. I'm pregnant. I laughed. Actually laughed. No, you're not. How do you... Because we haven't been intimate in 2 months. You were always too tired after consultation meetings. Unless it's Maxwell's. Her face crumbled. I'm not pregnant. I know. I just needed you to care. I did care for 5 years. You just didn't notice until I stopped. She flew back that night, but not before sending one last manipulative text. I'll wait for you, however long it takes. I blocked her. Remember how I said Melissa would wait? That lasted about 3 weeks. She started dating someone new. Kieran, her personal trainer, posting constantly about how the right person appears when you're working on yourself, and sometimes your soulmate is at the gym all along. Whitney sent me the updates. She's basically living at his place already. Been like a month. Pattern's gonna pattern. But here's where it gets interesting. Maxwell reached out on LinkedIn. Hey man, heard you're crushing it in Seattle. Actually just got an offer there myself. Would love to buy you a beer and clear the air. This absolute genius thought we'd be buddies now. No thanks. Good luck though. Come on, bro. Water under the bridge. Melissa meant nothing to me. That's exactly the problem, Maxwell. He took the Seattle job anyway. Turns out his corporate housing was through the same property management company that handles our building contracts. Because when you're relocating senior-level professionals, there are only so many executive housing options that meet corporate standards. I ran into him in the lobby during my 6th month in Seattle with a woman who wasn't Natalie and looked about 22. Zach, bro, this is Chloe. Chloe, this is my buddy Zach. We're not buddies, Maxwell. Chloe looked confused. Maxwell went red. Don't be like that, man. We're neighbors now. I'm considering relocating to a different building. I wasn't, but he didn't need to know that. Chloe Googled Maxwell that night, found Natalie's LinkedIn posts about the consultation meeting situation, dumped him via text in our building's resident WhatsApp group by accident instead of sending it privately. Maxwell, I can't believe you're the consultation meeting cheater from those posts. We're done. 247 residents saw that message. Building management started calling him consultation guy after that. Melissa's relationship with Kieran imploded exactly as predicted. Shocking development. Turns out Kieran was also maintaining professional relationships with his ex. They had workout sessions every weekend to help her with competition prep. Melissa found them in a very compromising stretching position during what was supposed to be a solo training session. She messaged me on WhatsApp. I'd forgotten to block her there. "Now I understand how you felt. I'm so sorry." I left her on red. But the real karma came from an unexpected source: the tax situation. Remember how Melissa claimed residence at her parents' house to qualify for certain business deductions? Well, someone reported her for a tax audit. That someone may have been Natalie, who works for a Seattle accounting firm and takes professional ethics very seriously, especially after discovering how Maxwell had been manipulating the truth about their relationship. The audit revealed that Melissa had been claiming false residency for 4 years to avoid paying proper business taxes on her real estate income. She owed $23,000 in back taxes, penalties, and interest. Her parents had to bail her out financially, but only after making her move back into their house for real this time. The irony was perfect. Maxwell's reputation in Seattle preceded him. The consultation meeting story had spread through our industry circles. Seattle's professional business community is smaller than you'd think, especially in real estate and finance sectors. Word travels fast when someone's professional integrity gets questioned publicly. He'd been to exactly 0 successful networking events since arriving. Still calls me bro in the elevator when we occasionally cross paths. I still ignore him. Jenna reached out last week through LinkedIn. "Melissa wanted me to tell you she's sorry. She's really working on herself now." "That's good. I hope she figures it out." She also wanted to know if you're seeing anyone. "Yes, I am. Her name's Chloe Murphy. She's a marketing director at a tech startup downtown, thinks the whole consultation meeting story is hilarious when I tell it, and has exactly 0 exes she maintains business relationships with every weekend." I'd met Chloe at an industry networking event 3 months after arriving in Seattle. She approached me after overhearing someone mention the Maxwell situation. "You're the guy who took his fiancée's ultimatum literally," she'd said, laughing. That's the most rational response I've ever heard to relationship manipulation. We'd been dating for 2 months now. She's brilliant, straightforward, and refreshingly honest about boundaries. Last month was my annual performance review. Got another promotion to senior director and permanent status with the company. The board wants me leading the Pacific Northwest expansion long term. I accepted immediately. The role comes with equity options and a significant salary bump that puts me well into 6-figure territory. Melissa's last LinkedIn post was about personal growth and how sometimes the best thing someone can do is leave so you can find yourself. Comments were disabled, naturally. To everyone who said I should have fought for the relationship. Why? She literally told me we shouldn't be together if I couldn't handle her business relationship with her ex every weekend. I disagreed with her assessment and took her advice. To those saying I was too harsh, I turned down a life-changing opportunity twice for someone who was emotionally cheating on me every weekend while calling me controlling and insecure. I wasn't harsh enough. And to those asking if I regret leaving, I'm making almost 65% more than my old salary, living in an amazing city, dating someone who actually respects commitment, and Maxwell has to see me thriving every single day in the building where everyone calls him consultation guy. My only regret is not taking the job the first time it was offered. The aftermath continued to unfold in ways I couldn't have predicted. Whitney eventually reached out with more details about Melissa's situation. Apparently, the tax audit triggered a deeper investigation into her business practices. The IRS discovered she'd been claiming fake business expenses and inflating client consultation costs. What started as a residency issue became a full-scale fraud investigation. "She's basically unemployable in real estate now," Whitney told me during a phone call. "Word got out in the Denver market. Nobody wants to work with someone who's under federal investigation." I felt a brief moment of sympathy, then remembered 8 months of consultation meetings, and it passed. Maxwell's situation wasn't much better. His Seattle position lasted exactly 4 months before his new company let him go. Turns out they'd heard about the consultation meeting scandal through industry connections and decided his reputation was too much of a liability. He'd been bragging about his manipulation skills to the wrong people in Denver, and those people had friends in Seattle's business community. "Saw him working at a strip mall real estate office in Tacoma," Pierce mentioned during one of our quarterly catch-up calls. Definitely a step down from his previous trajectory. I didn't feel good about his downfall, but I didn't feel bad either. Actions have consequences. Chloe and I had been dating for 6 months now, and the relationship felt completely different from anything I'd experienced with Melissa. There were no games, no hidden agendas, no ex-boyfriends requiring constant consultation meetings. When Chloe said she was working late, she was actually working late. When she went out with friends, she invited me along or sent photos throughout the evening. Novel concept, apparently. I don't understand how anyone maintains friendships with exes, she'd said one evening while we were cooking dinner together. Like, we broke up for a reason. Why would I want to spend every weekend analyzing real estate investments with someone I couldn't even share a bathroom with successfully? We'd been planning a weekend trip to Vancouver, something I'd mentioned to Melissa during our disastrous Seattle coffee meeting. Chloe was excited about exploring a new city together, trying restaurants, maybe doing some hiking, normal couple activities that didn't require the presence of former romantic partners. My career trajectory in Seattle exceeded every expectation. The Pacific Northwest expansion was ahead of schedule, and the board had already approved funding for additional regional offices. They'd asked me to spearhead the entire West Coast operation, which would mean another significant promotion and relocation to our San Francisco headquarters within the next year. It's a big decision, my director had said during our planning meeting. Obviously, we'd want you to consider all personal factors before committing. I thought about Chloe, who worked remotely and had already expressed excitement about potentially living in San Francisco. I thought about Denver, where my ex-fiancée was living with her parents and under federal investigation. The choice seemed obvious. Meanwhile, Melissa had attempted to contact me through various channels. She'd tried LinkedIn, Instagram, even asked Whitney to pass along messages, all variations on the same theme. She'd learned from her mistakes, she understood what she'd lost, she wanted another chance to prove she'd changed. Whitney had been particularly direct in her latest message. She knows about Chloe, looked her up on LinkedIn and spent an hour analyzing her photos. It's honestly kind of concerning. I blocked Melissa on the remaining platforms I'd missed and asked Whitney to stop sharing updates. That chapter was closed. The most satisfying moment came during a Denver business trip 3 months ago. I was in town for a conference and ran into some old colleagues at a networking event. Melissa was there, working as a server for the catering company. She saw me from across the room but didn't approach. I didn't acknowledge her either. Sometimes the best revenge really is just living well. Kieran, her personal trainer boyfriend, had lasted about 6 weeks after their stretching incident discovery. Whitney mentioned he'd started dating one of his other clients immediately after, suggesting his pattern wasn't much different from Maxwell's. Melissa seemed to have a talent for attracting men who specialized in maintaining multiple relationships simultaneously. "She's been asking about you constantly," Jenna had texted last month. "Wants to know if you're happy, if you ever think about Denver, if you miss anything about your old life." I'd shown the message to Chloe, who'd laughed and suggested we post more photos from our Vancouver trip. And that's exactly what we did. Beautiful shots of us hiking Grouse Mountain, trying dim sum in Chinatown, watching the sunset from English Bay. Not because I wanted to hurt Melissa, but because I was genuinely happy and wanted to share that happiness with friends and colleagues who cared about my well-being. Oh, and Melissa, since I know you still check my social media with fake accounts, Chloe and I are considering the San Francisco opportunity together. Don't worry though, it's not with her ex-boyfriend. She doesn't need consultation meetings to make major life decisions. Cheers from Seattle, where life is pretty fantastic when you surround yourself with people who actually respect your time, energy, and commitment. Sometimes the best thing you can do is take someone at their word.